Every morning.
Can you hear me all right?
What's up?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Sorry. So it's my I would usually just tap into these meetings using my work laptop because I'd have to just go to work right afterwards and no reason to swap all my setup out. But now that I'm an unemployed bum, uh, I had to switch back to my main machine to do it. So I didn't know. I haven't tested any of it. So, but good. You can hear me.
Uh, yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, Friday was my last day at my one gig, and then uh, this week I applied to one job that I found on Wellfound, which is kind of like a startup job site versus like Indeed and all those things are more for established companies. Got a technical assessment request back, did that, and then now I've got an intro phone call at some point I have to schedule. So that's promising. Um, I wasn't going to like look for a new gig right away,
Yeah, I'm
but
surprised. I've been looking for the past maybe 2.5 months, and I can't get a technical phone screen at all.
oh, geez. Um, yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking for it specifically, but the the unique thing about this one is it's the way that the job is described to me or the product itself is exactly everything I wanted to do at my last job, but we never like could get to executing on. So it was like, oh, I've already put a ton of thought into this exact domain. Like I know kind of some of the market already and how the product, some things that the product should and shouldn't do, um, and it's actually one of the things that I was thinking like, oh, if I was gonna try to work on something on my own, what would I do? And this is exactly one of those things. But it also ticks the box that it's a early phase startup, like very early. I think they've got, from what I can tell, they've got some angel investment, not a lot, but some. So um, so they've got a little bit of a runway, but so it ticks that box in terms of the desire to try working at a startup. So yeah, we'll see. um, yeah,
Mm.
but yeah. So you're having no luck though.
No, well, I updated my LinkedIn profile. There was like a flood of interest, and I had like maybe 3 or 4 calls that seemed promising, and
Mm-hmm.
then this whole week has been crickets.
Hmm.
Crickets. I had a couple of like introductory like phone calls last week, but this week nothing, man. Last week they're
Hmm.
talking about how like they're going to schedule a a phone screen with their technical developers this week. It never came.
Hmm.
So yeah, the way I've been dealing with what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Fear of the unknown is
Yeah.
just keep working
Uncertainty.
out. Uncertainty, thanks. Keep working out and use it as an excuse to keep working on Beach Mobile. So
Cool. You're gonna have to sell your SUV sometime at some point.
do my what?
You're gonna have to sell your SUV at some point.
No, I don't think so. I
Hmm.
work too hard for everything that I have.
So you got to find something to cover eventually. But yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, have you looked at that well-found site at all that I mentioned? Or um,
I don't think so. I
I
don't
mean,
even
if you're looking
remember.
for, well, I mean, you're probably looking for more gainful employment, but um, or no, you're looking for contract work. I really know.
I'm looking for any work that will pay my bills for the next maybe 8 weeks at least. I had another customer order come in, I think Tuesday,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and it came in. Well, my phone rang and said Beach Mobile customer, right? Because that's
Hmm.
how I have my Google Voice set up. And I was in the middle of like writing code. And I'm like, man, ah, Beach Mobile, Scott speaking. How can I help you? Yeah, I saw your package on Groupon, and can I get this delivered? I'm at so and so street, getting ready to go to the beach. I'm like, I did not want to deliver that order at all. Like I'm busy trying to achieve like flow while I'm trying to figure out what it means to implement this carrier functionality. And I'm like, oh God. Well, it came through Groupon. I feel like I have to, and Groupon, you don't really make money. You
Hmm.
don't like they take you agree to take like 30% off or a third off of your product price, and then they take a third off of that. All right.
Hmm.
And I'm like, all right, well, obviously this is an opportunity um, for me to learn and make mistakes on this order delivery, so that I can have a retro and refine the process, figure out where to improve at. So let me just go ahead and do that. So I'll quoted him like a 35 to 45 minute turnaround time, and then staged the stuff. I drove down there, had someone sit in my car as I pulled the wagon to the beach, set it up. Uh, he paid through Groupon, but I was able to upsell him or rent him out a phone charger for
Hmm.
like $8, and came back later and checked up on them. They were doing fine, and had somebody else pick up the equipment and stash it. And I picked up the equipment a couple days later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's two customers through Groupon. Interesting. Maybe not. No customers through the actual website, but well, that's not true. They go through Groupon, then they go to the website sometimes, and they look at the prices. I guess to verify that they're actually getting a deal. That's it.
Hmm. So much do you
So
make off that transaction?
without the upsell of renting
Yeah.
out of the care package stuff, um, it was it was 40 through Groupon. Two chairs and an umbrella is $49. Whatever a third of $49 is. Well, if a third of so what? That's $15 that they make, right? If roughly $30 is a third of 100, I mean 33 is whatever.
Hmm.
So they make like
You
maybe
made like
sixteen
15 bucks.
dollars out of the $39, I think. So
Hmm.
39 minus 16 is something three. What is that? 43? I can't do the math.
Yeah.
Um, no,
Yeah,
not
you lost
43.
me.
23.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So a little over 20
I
bucks.
can't
And
do math in my head.
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
But
so I made
Groupon
like
is all about drumming up interest, though, isn't it? That's the point of it. It isn't to make money. It's an advertising mechanism. So
yeah, but advertising to who?
yeah, yeah,
Like
good point.
for reoccurring customers. In my case, which now that you mentioned it, yeah, da membership. Okay, so ooh shoot, you're right. Okay, so let me divulge the thought process before you gave me this revelation. All right.
Okay.
Groupon may be a good tool for spas, hair salons.
Yeah,
Uh,
restaurants, things that are,
yeah.
yeah, that
So
need to find new business. Yeah.
customers get hip to your service. They get that massive discount the first time, and then you can retain them because they like your work, right? In the case of Beach Mobile, your tourists are typing in things to do in Miami, just like I typed in to try to figure out what platforms show up on the search results of the very first page of Google. And it was Groupon, TripAdvisor, I think Yelp, etc. All right. So when tourists are coming in, they get this massive discount, right? The umbrella cost me $50. The two lounge chairs cost me $170. Okay.
Hmm.
So 50, 170, 5 and 7. It sounds like $220. Um, and I'm renting that out to them for $39, where normally on the website, beachmobile.app, a chair alone is $20, right? Which means two chairs is $40, which means that they just got a free umbrella. They just got a free shade. So the only thing, the only reason why that would make sense before you just gave me a revelation is just like the movie theater and the box office, you make your money off the concession,
Hmm.
right? So I made an extra like $8 off of a phone charger. They're black, so they weren't interested in sunscreen lotion. Okay, um, I asked, and they're like, "No, my melatonin got me." I'm like, "Okay." So, which I say the same thing. Knock on wood. But yeah, the Groupon in my case will likely just provide or encourage word of mouth um, for people who are waiting on their friends to fly in, maybe for a special event, or you have to have a business plan for doing add-ons that Groupon doesn't know about, that they're not going
Hmm.
to take a third of renting a phone charger or renting a radio, right? They were interested in the radio as well, but I told them like one is I thought about the radio when I was staging the equipment at my crib before I was going to hop in the vehicle and drop it off, but I didn't have enough time to put together a contract, put together a disclaimer, and for any hardware, like I need a deposit. They already paid through Groupon, and so like that's a $500 JBL, right? That I
Hmm.
have. Like, what's the likelihood that they're going to drop a $250 deposit, probably minimum, to rent that out? And if they already paid, our thought process, I know I'm rambling right now, is I wanted to have as less friction in their transaction as possible. So they ordered this package, I delivered it to them, and I wasn't sure what the trust or anxiety was going to look like if I were to say, "Hey, I have a radio too," um, and then have to have them sign a contract, and then give me their photo ID, and then put a deposit or take their bank card, their Visa or Mastercard, run it through the Stripe mobile app, and then promise them that it's only going to do a hold amount and it's going to be released by the end of today, or and hope that it is. I didn't feel like going through all that ceremony and trying to explain that to them.
Hmm.
What do you think? Would you have
Um,
taken it as an opportunity to just force it anyway and figure out what happens?
yeah, yeah, it might. I mean, because all like everything that you do in this stage is really about gaining feedback about the process, and I suppose that's what you're trying to obtain. That's what's valuable.
Yeah,
So
and I did that
yeah,
with the phone charger. I just didn't feel like the complexity or the ceremony with uh, a music speaker or a Bluetooth speaker that costs $500 versus a portable power bank for a phone that costs like $25. I
yeah,
still took a deposit from him. He gave me $20, and at the end, 3 hours later, I gave him $12 back.
yeah. I mean, maybe that is your feedback right there. don't take that as I didn't gain feedback. Take that as you did. That process, there was something that stopped you from being able to you know take advantage of that revenue opportunity. So that's something that you should solve. Like,
Yeah, so I
yeah,
mean, a couple of days later, when I had my self retro,
yeah,
I printed out three different contracts, one for equipment, one for the care package. Oh no, one for each uh beach accommodation package. So two chairs and an umbrella is one package. Uh, a pop-up tent is another package, and then two chairs and the canopy is another package. Two chairs and the gazebo is another package. So I printed contracts for all three of those individual contracts, where it has the price, and they sign off on it being a 3 hour rental, and they sign off on they inspected the equipment, and they're going to be financially responsible for any damage while it's in their custody. So I did that. So hopefully, I could throw that in my glove compartment. So in future, when I get ready to make drop offs, I just take these contracts and they sign their name, they put the date, whatever. That's one thing I learned
so
from it.
how many contracts do they have to sign though? Like,
Uh, so one contract is for the the beach package.
uh-huh.
Another contract,
So
which
there's more than one though. Like,
yeah,
like that.
the
Nobody
other
wants to go
contract,
to like the beach and sign a mortgage though, right?
well, point taken, because the other contract was for the care package, but the first and only time where I literally tried to like drop off the care package, and they weren't interested in it,
Yeah,
right? So maybe you're right. You're saying put
yeah,
all that into just one contract.
yeah. I mean, and make it so that it's dynamic, right? And this is something that you could just do from a technical standpoint, right? Maybe you don't have to. You could take this as a separate
Digital
project or a
signage.
separate opportunity, yeah, to look at, because and then you have to deal with paper and stuff too, and all that, which you could do this digitally if you're gonna be there anyways to have them sign it. Um, you could make this so that you carry around an iPad or something like that, or some sort of tablet, and you create the contract there based on the items that you bring plus any add-ons that they have. It brings it up the contract. I don't know what other things. Maybe you take pictures of the setup right there on the thing for recording. You have them digitally sign the contract that gets stored away, and then
The other part associated to what you're saying that I also thought about, but I didn't want to overwhelm them because they had already paid Groupon,
yeah,
and I don't want negative feedback going to Groupon about my business. I don't.
hmm
Is man, like I have to hit pause button on everything that I have going on at home so I could deliver this package that I'm not really making any money off of, but the value is in learning, right? Um, they better not change their mind when I get down there, right? Translate it like I need to get a deposit. I need to get money down before I spend the next hour round trip um, trying to deliver this to them. And so far, I mean, out of like two customers, like none of them have flaked. That's only two, but it's inevitable, right?
yeah,
That it's going to
yeah, for sure.
happen. And so maybe I need to research what it means to text message them a link for like a DigiSign solution, and also within that link, finesse a way for them to put down like a, a $25 deposit. And
Yeah,
then once that deposit has been made, then all right, pack up. Let me hit the pause button on what I'm currently doing right now. Go ahead and deliver this. I'll stress about parking and getting parking tickets once I get down there to deliver their stuff. All right, so
yeah, yeah. And you could put together a pretty, I mean, even just as a temporary solution, just put together a very basic website to do that. Um, you don't need to have a mobile app or anything like that to do these kinds of things. Just a very simple website with a very simple like
Or I could
CRUD
just have
backend.
Zelle, right?
But
I could just text message them with my Zelle details.
or yeah, I mean you can use a third party for sure. um, Sale.
Well, it's Zelle or Zelly, whatever you want to call it. I think it's
Oh,
probably pronounced
Zelly.
Zelle. I think it's
Oh,
pronounced Zelle though. Z
oh,
E
I
L
see.
L E.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, but that's just to receive money, right?
The deposit, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean you could. The thing is you could have the website to capture the contract, their signature, whatever, and then forward them to your Zelle to make the deposit or whatever. Although does Zelle allow you to do authorizations without and then settle for a different amount later? Because that's what
The
you've been
n-
talking about, right?
uh, no, the but I think you're on to something. The context was a deposit for me to hop in my car and go down there.
Oh, I see. So put in a minimum amount that you're willing to say, and then I'll charge the rest to you later, minus
Yeah.
your original pot. Oh, perfect. Yeah, yeah. Then you can do the Zelle thing. Yeah, nope. Yeah, that makes sense. And then when you get out there, you say, well, yeah, because you could say,
But in their case, they went through Groupon, so they paid, so they already demonstrated that there's a high
yeah,
likelihood they're not going to flake because they're going to have to go through a lot of ceremony to get their money back from a third party. Hence
yeah,
Groupon.
yeah. So you could take, you could say that there's a, what's the minimum amount that you would do for a setup thing like that? Uh, like, is it $20 or something? And say, well, you have to put in a $20, you know, non-refundable deposit or whatever for me to
Well,
go out and do that, and that will come off of the cost of the final things or whatever. But it's to protect our time or whatever. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would think about if your solution currently doesn't involve getting other people to grab and deliver the goods, and or they're going to need some sort of contract, like dynamic contract type thing anyways, you might as well put together something to just focus on that actual real need rather than all of these potential eventualities that you
well,
have.
and the paper also. So the contract for each of those beach packages, it's the customer and it's the courier.
Yeah,
They all sign off on it
well, you can have that on a you can have
digitally.
that on a digital, yeah, thing too. um, I don't know if what that looks like, but in terms of people going to court and stuff, um, but people could say you forged their signature in any situation. So um, you know
But I don't know their email address, right? So I'm pretty sure that those digital signage probably sends some type of verification to their designated email, and then they have to click, and then that's enough proof that it was them and not me, right? It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to disprove an email address that you use uh, every day that somehow the business found out or hacked your email account and did all this for like $50.
oh, I see. So you're saying that there's a but I don't know. I've gone to places and brought up forms and stuff like that, and signed there. Like I've signed waivers and things,
Hmm.
without any sort of like flow through my email. Hey, go click this to sign the waiver. No, it's just like here, yes, click the checkbox. I agree. Use your finger to sign this item. Click submit.
You
You go.
didn't that didn't hit your email box before you click the link to sign?
No, I mean these are like waivers at plate. Like we went tubing at a park, like like I should say like it's like skiing, but it's like you're in a tube, so you just go down a hill on the
Tobogganing?
snow. No, you're in like a tube. Anyways,
Okay.
um, snow tubing, I guess is what it's called. And you go there and you go up to their kiosk, you enter your information, you don't have to go and like approve it or anything. You just enter your information. You click yes, check yes, I agree. You sign with your finger. You submit. You're done. That's your
So
waiver.
I still think signing with a finger is stupid.
Yeah, but digital e-signatures is like they're real things. Like you don't have to put your pen to paper
Yeah,
on
my
anything.
signature, whenever I sign on my finger, it looks different every single time.
Oh yeah, I know. But signature, the point of signatures isn't. I mean, signature verification is something, but it's the idea is that it's really just an expression of intent. Um,
It should
I
just
believe is
be
what it is.
put your print on here, and that's
Yeah.
it. Your fingerprint. Like this whole signing thing, like it's it's
Yeah.
dumb.
Well, can you get a
Put your put
biometric reading
put your
from a?
fingerprint right here.
Yeah, can you get You can get a biometric reader, like a fingerprint reader, and record that as proof. Be like, yeah, we have their fingerprint. They had to have touched this. Um,
The argument may be, I don't know. I'm thinking too much into it. Okay.
yeah, I don't know, but I mean the deal is like there's a long chain of events between somebody like um, and two, you have to also worry about chargebacks anyways. Even if you do all that stuff, I mean, people will go back and charge back. If they spend a bunch of money on a weekend and they have regret, they'll go back and charge that back on their credit card anyways.
How is that
Um,
managed
they just
by
go
the
in and
merchant?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that side looks like, but we had I went to a bar in the town I live in. They're like, yeah, we're all cash. There's an ATM over there. We're an all cash bar. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you accept cards? He goes, well, what happens is somebody will come out, they'll get drunk, they'll spend a ton of money on
Rounds.
rounds for people, and then basically they do a chargeback. The weekends gets over, they'll dispute the charges, and then you know there must be it must be a total like
I mean, they're on
it
camera
must be
though.
difficult on the yeah, but it must be difficult on the side. Well, I mean, but you have to go through all the proof process probably. There's probably a long and involved thing on the merchant side that's like, you know what, why would we even try to deal with that to recoup? You're spending more on it, you're not making anything at that point, so they go all cash. But
I wonder
I
how
mean,
much money
maybe
they're
things will be
losing
different for
because of
you.
that.
Yeah, but that's like you know at the same time it's like how much are they like of people that are totally would spend a lot and not do chargebacks. Is there's a calculation there. So I don't know if they're seeing, but an ATM kind of solves a lot of that. So I don't know. But I mean, I would, you might just have to trust for a while that, yeah, that will happen at some point. You're going to get somebody who's going to, either take your crap and run, or they're going to charge back, or they're going to break everything, and they're not going to pay for it. And it's going to be the cost of doing business, but hopefully that's the exception and not the rule. But plus, if you build like a web app to this, you can now you can use your newfound React skills that now I understand that I can share. And
I don't have any React skills. I bought the book. That's it. I told you I bought the book.
yeah, yeah, you
Okay.
did. Yeah, you said you were
Well, I
learning
looked at it like
everything.
once, but then I got busy again. Yeah.
Yeah, the technical assessment I had to do this last week was write a React UI. I'm like, oh crap, I don't like I've done everything in Vue. I don't know React, so I had to go and I watched like a 7-minute video about here's Vue and here's React. It's like, oh, okay, well that kind of makes sense. And then I fumbled through a little bit. The biggest thing between the difference is that, and I guess Vue supports JSX, um, but React is heavily uses it. So um, is understanding some of the like how do you do things within that JSX format. But otherwise, they're very similar after Vue 3, which uses a composition UI or a composition method to do their setup. So it's pretty easy to pick it up. I felt pretty comfortable after an hour of working on it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Tech Conception broke 200 subscribers. It there was a surge with when we interviewed Don Syme, and there's a bigger surge when we had John A. DeGose for
Hmm.
Scala. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that this thing is going to. I'm not saying it's going to be like go viral, but I'm pretty confident it's going to keep growing for a while.
Yeah.
As long as Odie stays consistent and he doesn't tap out like every other thing I ask him to do. That's a project. But yeah,
Well, you seem to have a role of people who are in the functional realm. You should interview Jose Valim next for Elixir.
we're interviewing. Is his name Yan Kui or AKA the Burning Monk?
Never heard of him.
He you've seen him before.
I probably have,
He's
but
he's the I think he's the British. I think he's British, Asian that writes a lot of blogs and delivers a lot of content on serverless. Does that sound
oh
familiar?
no, no.
Uh, it's the Burning Monk. Uh, we're likely to have him on Monday.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, I met him when I was in London for NDC conference. Met him and Matthias Brandwinder. I don't know how to say his name. So none of these names you recognize.
No.
You need to get with the FP program. Working on the carrier feature from front to back. I think most of it can just leverage the code that I wrote for the courier functionality front to back.
Oh man, that's always such a rough thing.
Start saying supplier instead of carrier.
Something. Yeah, the so one of the back at when I was like a new developer, I was working at this company and I had to I had to work on this thing for collecting date codes for parts and really um, uh, specifying a customer could specify whether date codes were required or requested. It just requested, like they request the date codes, but if they don't have them, go ahead and ship it anyways. Or no, I must have these date codes. If you don't have them, I can't accept the order. And so I use the terms requested and required everywhere, and they're so close in terms of spelling that it was like I got screwed up so many times. Not like there were no bugs or anything like that when I shipped it,
Hmm.
but just in terms of like uh, typing out when I'm typing, oh, accidentally typing RE, and then it was if I was Q or S, I mixed up a bunch. So those like having those sound like terms, even if they have distinct meanings, but if they're just similar in the way that they come off the
It trips
tongue,
everybody
it
up whenever I
trips.
try to
Yeah,
have a verbal discussion.
yeah. Carrier does not. Carrier to me is people who
It's like
are
a phone
shippers.
carrier to me.
Yeah, or yeah, that they're a service for something like I think of carriers as being shippers, which is why courier would be very good. Suppliers,
What about depot?
no, no, like a depot, yeah, would make sense if you like if you're trying to capture a node that holds the product, yeah, a depot would kind of make sense, yeah.
Or issuer? But I feel like
Sure.
issuer can be kind of overloaded because the courier can issue it on site.
You see, this
Anyway,
is the place where like these kinds of things is where I'll have conversations with Chat GPT, and I find it very valuable. Is
yeah,
to go and say, okay, I have a thing called this. Give me like a list of things that make sense, and then I'll ask, dig in more. Like, why does this make sense? Why would you choose this one over
I mean
this
you could
one?
do that with Google, just that, or you could do that in Word. You just say synonyms,
Well,
right?
yeah, synonyms, but then they might even bring if you describe the context of the industry too, they might bring terms that it might bring back terms that you didn't think about because it knows more than just what's another word for carrier, which I don't know. You go look up the synonyms of carrier. What is it? I'll just go to the thesaurus quick.
I had ChatGPT write a blog post for me. Uh, I think over last weekend and published it.
So
I think I'm gonna have
carrier,
ChatGPT publish a blog post like every week now.
Yeah, so synonyms for carrier are shipper, bearer, courier, messenger, transporter, delivery person, mail carrier, letter carrier. So, I mean, but what you're talking about is somebody more like a holder, maybe.
They, it's an issuer,
So they're the ones who issuer.
supplier, connect.
Well, supplier would be, I guess, yeah. So what you're describing though is the entity that owns the product and is willing to be the person who rents it out to someone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's probably a term for that. A renter. I don't know. I don't know.
In regards to logistics, there's a very small 11 parking spot municipal lot that's on the beach.
Hmm.
It's like uh, it's like six in ocean, and the guy that has his pop up tents all over the place, he's on eighth and ocean. So 11 spots. It's like, what's the probability of getting a parking spot, right? So the thought process is, well, get there at like 5 or 6 in the morning, secure the spot, pay the extra. I think for the entire day, maybe like $30, and that parking spot will serve as the carrier depot in which U-Haul offers uh, shuttles or minivans
Hmm.
for $15 a day. So for $15, you get a U-Haul van. You can shove some gazebos, some radios, pop-up tents, chairs in there. So 15 and 30 is $45. So for about $45 a day, that is the first carrier um, solution in
Well, wasn't
which
it $45 today if you're paying for parking, or is it free parking?
no. So parking, I think parking starts at I don't know. This guy did the research. I think parking starts at like maybe 8 o'clock in the morning where they
Hmm.
start enforcing. I think up until like I think up until like 8 o'clock or something. I don't know, but it seems like a workaround in
Yeah.
order to within maybe 5 to 10 minutes satisfy an order in the heart of South Beach.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense actually. Yeah. I mean,
But it needs
eventually.
it needs its own app, right? So I'm still taking I renamed Courier app to Partner app, and as I said earlier in our discussion, like there's a lot of shared functionality, right? And so I'm just going to like copy paste the at least the homepage for Courier for the Courier, make whatever tweaks because I mean it's very similar. The art is very similar. Originally, I was thinking about just genericizing the homepage, which is a XAML file, and have data binding in which it would load in a different layout depending on if it was a courier or a carrier. But I think I
Yeah,
can
but
make.
the
You're not
isn't.
familiar with XAML though, but make long story short, I think I'm just going to take the existing courier UX, extract a data template
Hmm.
from it. So you have a courier data template, you have a carrier data template, and depending on the local storage setting, on if they're only a courier or if they're a carrier, or they could be both, which in JSON I would probably represent as a list, right?
Hmm.
Um, I have a rough idea of how I'm going to do it.
Wouldn't you find that like don't you find that like building out a full mobile app and maintaining that whole pipeline for like someone who's on that side of the business is wouldn't that be a lot? I mean, like wouldn't just a standard web app be better, quicker, and like faster to iterate on? I mean, there's like I can see that there's reasons for the like end user, like the customer
Hmm.
side, and the courier side too, in terms of like you've got to have that like you gotta have like real time feedback about locations and where to go and all of that stuff. So there's features of the phone that you're trying to tap into that are a little bit harder to do with a web app. But I'm sure that they like um, if you're a supplier of of goods of these goods um, that like your stuff is probably just here, get my location, drop it in, and turn myself on for the day or turn myself off in terms of availability. And then you might have tools to maintain your inventory and to know to prepare an order or alerts probably, but you don't need a mobile app to do all that stuff, right?
No, I don't think you need a mobile app to do all that stuff. One is like if we revisit like what I was conscious of was this a high probability that when I'm building maybe an interesting project for learning, it
Hmm.
has a high probability of failure. But if I'm going to invest the time, then I might as well, invest the time and learn something and be able to charge more money as a consultant or contractor. That was a thought process.
Well,
I
this what
hate
if
I hate web development. I hate it. Silverlight was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then they
why?
took it. They took it because it was in a language or dialect that I enjoyed,
Write a
right?
Blazor app then. I mean, you still get to use .NET.
Blazor is
Um,
going nowhere. As much as they try to push it, and as much as good as it may be, to me, Blazor is dead on arrival.
I think that there's actually a lot of usage that would be probably on enterprises within that have a lot of current .NET infrastructure. Like I think that it
I
fits
don't.
that niche.
It
But the
it, it
bill,
may be alien stellar technology. I think it's dead on arrival.
yeah.
React is everything, and
Well,
I'm not sure if
React, Vue, Angular, and
I don't even hear about Vue. React is everything. I
I dude,
I don't hear about Vue.
both my last jobs were Vue.
Your
Like
last jobs,
yeah,
but as someone that has been looking for jobs for aggressively for the last two and a half months, I rarely see anything about Vue. Everything is
yeah.
React.
A lot of
Everything.
a lot. I mean, there's a fair number of .NET shops that use Vue. I don't know why there's that connection into it, but
I
there
don't see
there
the job
is.
description saying Vue. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. But yeah, so why not use this opportunity to learn more about React then? It's like that. It's not it. You'd be. I mean, there's a lot of functional principles in it. The only thing I would see that would be difficult maybe to get into isn't React at all. It's just styling and that kind of stuff, which is HTML, CSS.
Because I already made the architectural decision, and now there's a trickle of customers that are
Hmm.
occurring once a week or every other week.
But you haven't built that app yet, though, the courier side. So, or the
The the
sorry, the carrier side or the supplier. Let's just say
the carrier has so
depot.
much in, the supplier has so much in common with the courier features. It's a lot of the services are the same, right?
Oh,
So
in
I
terms
literally
of getting
renamed the
paid and stuff.
service from courier service to partner service, from
Hmm.
courier dispatch to partner dispatch. The shared features are subscribe, accept, decline, forfeit when it comes to order requests.
I see. I see. Okay.
They, if there were inheritance, it would be a partner, and the only difference so far that I'm aware of at this point is a courier actually cares about a route,
Hmm.
and the supplier doesn't care. They both do a transfer. That's another domain term that I came up with maybe 3 days ago. They each do a transfer. A courier transfers to a customer. A supplier transfers to the courier. They
Hmm.
have a lot of shared functionality.
Okay.
Thankfully, knock on wood.
Yeah, because they're just hubs within a thing, but doing slightly different. Like you could technically, I suppose, have the same. I mean, maybe the name for you could maybe just eliminate the idea of the carrier courier at all and come up with an actual superstructure that just represents both.
A partner.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and
Even the
courier
payroll. The
currying,
payroll's the same.
yeah, currying or whatever is just a sub function of that. So
Like when they accrue a commission, like there's no differentiation about how payroll is managed. So like
yeah,
so far, what I identified is the only difference is so far logistics, routing. That's it.
yeah.
Which is why I was strongly considering using the same XAML page on the partner app, in which pu- pulling from local storage, if there were a courier, a carrier, or both, I could just use data binding and use the same page and just auto dynamically generate the swapping of labels from courier deliveries to supplier uh, issued or
Hmm.
issues, right?
Sure. Hmm. Well,
Tech
anyways,
recruiters don't care about what what have you done for an employer? I'm like, I've done a lot, but like I single-handedly built like a Uber Eats or Postmates system. Why don't you care about that? Why don't you want to acknowledge that? They don't
yeah,
care.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know why that. I mean,
Stigma.
yeah, yeah. I suppose that there's a lot of I mean, it's one thing if you're like, no, like I run this and we have X many transactions, so you're your own employer. But um, people work on side projects all the time. It doesn't mean that they delivered it any value to people. So it's
I would argue that people work for mediocre companies all the time. It
yeah,
doesn't mean that the software actually gets deployed.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just it's outside of the norm, right? So it's people recruiters are looking for people that came from job to job to job or contract building stuff. They're not, you know, like doing this on an extra basis is a plus, but it probably as like a full-time thing is a minus unless you
I
have.
have a registered website. I went through the
I know you
application
don't
for
need to
funding with Y Combinator. Like
you don't need to
I
sell
did
me
a
on it. I see
professional
that too.
commercial shoot for it.
Yeah.
I'm registered on TripAdvisor, Yelp, Groupon. Like, why don't they want to accept the fact that I am a tech founder regardless of the revenue? Why? By default, I like pulling the race card, but I'm trying not to. Why won't they just accept that I built a system? Yes, it still hasn't been completely shipped yet, but I went through the same processes or close enough that most founders go through. Like, why can't they just accept them? Like, damn, Scott, you have done more than probably 85 to 90% of normal developers that we encounter. Like, why don't they want to accept that? The business part of it, I think that's way more valuable than the tech side.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you're
that
able to see the long term and merge the two.
yeah, I mean that's the thing is recruiters get a list of here's the requirements and they put on a hat of okay, I need to find people that meet these things that I don't get a vibe that they're BS about, you know. Um and so when they see this, they might that just might be a trigger that says, yeah, that they believe you. They just go, this is not a normal thing, and it could be BS. And so I'm just going to disqualify it immediately because there's other candidates. I mean, that's what I would interpret's going on, because that's their job, is to try to find qualified candidates, and they need to weed through a big pool to remove anything that they think is BS, to try to come up with a few solid people. So, I mean, you've done a
I
lot of
can
contract
I
work,
can
but
fabricate my resume.
yeah, I mean, you've done a lot of contract work, so I mean that should be something. But
You would
I mean,
think, like, I have all this on my resume.
yeah,
No, they think that they think that people that make a lot of money a year that also have side passions, that they're supposed to consistently work like 12 months out the year, when the first 3 months could probably sustain the rest of their year, right? If they have a simple like lifestyle.
mhm,
Right. So they see these gaps. I'm like, it's not a gap. This is when I'm not on assignment, then I'm focusing on the business that I imagine.
yeah.
Like these Beckys and Heathers and Joshes, like they're not trained to understand the industry.
Well,
Like you said, they're only trained to how much React do you have? Like it's in my pocket. Like,
yeah,
F them.
it's well, I mean, maybe just frame your resume as Beach Mobile was your employer during these times, because it is do have it as a corp, right?
Yeah.
Registered as a corp. So just
Well,
state that as your,
Bismunger is the court.
well, state that you that you worked for, or there's like a, spin off a smaller like subsidy, you know, register it as a business and say that you've been contracting for Beach Mobile for that in time, and just get, make it off as a normal employment opportunity. Like there isn't
Uh,
any reason that working at a startup isn't useful, experience. So,
Change the
but
subject before we close out.
yeah,
How's your how's your fitness regiment going?
uh, all right. So I hurt my back 2 Fridays ago, and like I tried to run after that, and it was really painful. But so I took some days off, and now I'm getting back into it again. But this week I focused a lot on cutting. I need to lose weight if I want to reach my certain goals that I have for running this year. So been doing more in the way of fasting and focusing on just not eating as much. I did a run yesterday, and I've been walking a bit too. Um, but yeah,
You
it's
don't do bicycles?
I hate bicycling. It hurts my knees way more
That's
than
like
running.
the complete opposite
Yeah,
of running.
no, way more than running. It hurts my knees, and then it even hurts because of the seat that I have. It hurts my ass a lot too. But um, but yeah, no. So
I want to challenge you to run backwards at least once for like try to do half a mile, but
I'll
I mean it needs to be in a safe area.
yeah, I'll take you up on that after I get uh after I feel confident about health insurance again. So
Yeah, dude, like in the fitness room, there's people walking on a treadmill backwards. When I'm at the beach and I'm just walking to go work out, I'm seeing people jogging backwards. I'm a trendsetter, man. I set a trend in Miami Beach. I think it's going to like expand to like New York and LA
yeah,
because my knees hurt too bad to run forward.
there'll be a news article like, look at the latest trend and blah blah blah.
Well,
No.
one of my goals is to do a 5K backwards. I was able to do a mile, so I usually do three-quarters of a mile, but I mean I did a mile like two times.
Hmm.
So the next goal for my long-term run on Sunday, which I don't really do Sundays. I know that's the thing, right? For your long runs, is
Yeah,
to knock off two
a
miles.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's an extra 30% more calorie burn than, which is a third more uh, energy exerted
Hmm.
backwards compared to traditional or orthodox.
Yeah, I have been focusing on the thing with running this time around too. It's like it's not as easy. Like
Welcome
like
back, Gambler.
I'm like tapping out after, a mile and a half sometimes. Is I'm trying to do a forefoot or a midfoot strike rather than a heel strike when I'm running. So like, and part of this was reading this book Born to Run, which is pretty good. But the idea is that if you're gonna land, um, a lot of runners will land like this,
Hmm.
and they'll do a heel strike. And what enables us to do that as humans is the footwear that we have. So you're landing there. It's actually an unnatural way to land, but you have shoes that kind of mask the fact that you're getting a lot of impact. But if you land like this, where your Achilles, and your tendons are absorbing the impact, which if you were running barefoot, you couldn't run on your heel barefoot. It would hurt too much. Um, so I'm trying that, but I find that doing that you have to use considerably much more of your leg muscles to and your
Or you
your
could run
calves.
backwards. There is
Yeah,
no hill strike when you run backwards, and you're just like the what you just said.
yeah,
Your calves are always under pressure.
yeah. Well,
And I would
running
argue
forward,
your
it's
ankles
always
are
under
always under
pressure
pressure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that's I get to a certain point, and I mean I'm feeling it in
I
my
don't think
my
your calves
calves
are always under pressure. I mean, maybe you're right, but
because you're on landing on your forefeet, right? So and then
on the
you're
beach, well, when you're
see I'm
wearing
landing
shoes,
on
no,
yeah.
you're not.
Well, this is what I'm trying to do is to land on my
Okay.
forefeet, and
So
so
isn't there shoe wear that can facilitate what you're trying to accomplish?
yeah, it's called like zero shoes. Like it's basically
Okay.
you're running barefoot is what would be with like a layer of
Are
protection
those the
under.
ones with the toes on them?
No, I think there are kinds like that, but I think there's other zero shoes that are, just they're just basically like a thin layer of protection for your feet, and then um, that stuff. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those look silly.
I know I might set a trend with that too. I don't know if they make it in size 15 or 16.
Yeah, zero like XERO.
It's called. Where are they at? Vibram.
Best barefoot shoes and sandals, zero.
Yeah, I think Vibram is the main. Yeah,
I,
men's five fingers.
I dropped the link to like
I gotta
the
look at YouTube
Nike.
reviews for them.
Nike makes them and stuff too, but basically it's an archless. There's no padding. It's literally just the rubber to protect your bottom of your feet or the whatever.
Okay.
It's not, and I think that part of it too is there's more room for toes and stuff to spread out versus normal shoes. So I haven't bought one yet, but all I've been doing is just focusing on when I land, not landing on my heel. Which if you think about like a like an animal in the way that their feet is or their legs are, like
They,
their like ankle is like up off the ground, and they're always on their feet, right? And so they have that bouncy, springy motion versus like bang, 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 bang. So you're using your whatever, but your calf muscle and your Achilles like system as a spring. I do notice that with that method of running, my speed is a lot better from just as a starting point of having like lost a credible amount of fitness over the winter, but still it's to do endurance on that you have to build that up over time, and so I'm taking it slow.
what's over time?
Over I don't know a few months I'm guessing. I don't know. Um, that's why I'm also trying to lose weight because there's a lot of pressure when you're running on your Achilles when you're weighing way more than you should. So
I'm at
if I can get lighter, I'll
220.
be good.
I was 234 like 10 months ago. I'm at 220 now.
Yeah, dude, you're what 6'7" or something you
I'm
said?
6'7". Yeah.
Yeah, so you're like
I have a
you're
two
like
pack now.
you're like what 7, 8, 9, probably like 9 inches taller than me or something, and I weigh like over almost 230. So it's like I'm
You
carrying
don't
way
look
too much weight.
fat, but you don't look hella muscular either. Like So what? Do you really have a whole bunch of muscle under all
The
that?
no, the cameras. I got a beer belly,
Okay.
so that's the problem with me. So
You got like heavy legs. Like my legs are relatively like thin. I don't, man. I probably have
no,
like less than 10% body fat on my legs just from conditioning for the last 12 years.
no. It's mostly gut weight for me, gut like beer gut weight. So, but that's what I'm doing is like fasting. So I'm trying to do like
You should do planks every night or morning.
yeah.
You
But I'm
brush
trying
that
to do
off, but
like
it's
a
probably
meal.
the easiest way to do a calorie burn on your stomach or to burn fat on your stomach. I did it
Yeah.
last night. I graduated to 90-second planks. I do 3 sets.
So, here, give me a while to catch up in time, and then we'll have a competition on it. See who can last the longest. You know. Anyways, I probably should get going. I don't have to work, but we are going camping, and we're going to try to take off early. So my wife will wants to probably get going here as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's
We're
good stuff. How far is the drive?
It's 3 hours, so it's a bit of a jaunt. And we're trying something different. We're taking our dog with us this time rather than having someone to watch him. So there's
Okay.
going to be some learnings about transporting him because he's an old dog and he doesn't he's lost control of his bladder and stuff. So we have to and so sometimes he like will poop out of nowhere. He has no control out of it and stuff. So it might be a little bit of a jaunt to get up there or adventure, I should say. So
Well, good luck with that.
yeah,
All right.
but
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate all the feedback and encouragement.
yep, yeah. See you next week. All right,
See you again, Laura. Adios.
bye.
I'm waiting for the moral panic on TV. Jesus in Florida run backwards with strange shoes. Second coming of Jesus. Wokeness is killing us all. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not sure at what point corporations decided that they want to participate in politics. I have my own theory, but I'm not allowed to disclose it, or else I'm not going to have. No one will associate with me publicly if I disclose my opinion on the subject matter. I could tell you in private, um, but even if I tell you in private on like Twitter, they already shadow banned me. So even if I'm sure they sniff out my messages, even if they're like personal to other people, hence a direct message. So I'm afraid I can't disclose my opinion or conspiracy theories. But yeah, I'm kind of over it too. I hope the pendulum, like, I don't know, changes very, very soon. So take care. See ya. Bye.